For 18 seasons, Phil Esposito's amazing scoring feats had hockey fans everywhere sitting on the edge of their seats. Phil was Bobby Orr's guest at the Half Moon Club in Jamaica, where they relived some of those moments. Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends is brought to you by the legend of quality and freshness, Planters Nuts. Tonight, the legend of Phil Esposito.
Pleasure to announce our selection of Canada's all-peanut team. For crunch, Mr. Peanut from Planters. For freshness, Mr. Peanut from Planters. For variety, Mr. Peanut from Planters. For taste, Mr. Peanut from Planters. Can you believe this? 9 years with the Bruins, surrounded by a bunch of animals. They're all a bunch of nuts.
Planters, Canada's all-peanut team.
I sure hope Grapes doesn't see this.
Phil, your first disappointment in sports was not in hockey.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was in baseball, to be honest with you, Bob. I remember when I tried out for a Bantam baseball team. I was up there and they asked me to bunt, and I couldn't bunt. And I tried to do it, and I couldn't do it, and they said, "I'm sorry, son, you can't make the team." And I took off and I went to Central Park, and I just cried like crazy. That was my first disappointment.
And what is the name of that park today?
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. They renamed it, and they call it the Phil Esposito Park, and it's kind of ironic.
In '62, you turned pro, signed your first pro contract, and again, a year in the minors.
Yep, that was right. I went to Chicago training camp, and I think I got in a little trouble with Mr. Ivan then, who was general manager. You know him. I remember going into his little office, and he says, "Well, how much you want, son? You know, how much you want?" And I said, "Well, how much you offering?" He said, "Well, we want you to have a three-way contract for the Central League, for the American League, and for the NHL." And I just says, "Hey, look, I mean, I just want to play in the NHL." And he says, "Well, we don't know whether you're ready or not." And I signed for $3,800. $3,800. I mean, the kids nowadays, they spend that on parking tickets.
Finally, the Chicago Blackhawks, and you're playing in the shadows of Bobby Hull and Stan Mikita.
They were just all-stars, and I was the only rookie on the team, and I got a break, though. One game, Billy Ray says, "I'm going to change lines tonight." I'll never forget that meeting. And he says, "Esposito, you and Mackey and Hull play together." And I looked at Chico, and I went, "Oh, boy, here's our chance." You know, to myself, I'm saying, "I'm going to tell you, we're going to make it go." We went 13 games without a loss. Bobby Hull scored 14 goals in those 13 games. I got 8 goals in those 13 games, and Chico had like 16 or 17 points. And we were absolutely, we made it. We clicked, you know what I mean? And from then on, I knew that I was capable of playing in the league.
I know you were very disappointed when you were traded to Boston.
One thing for sure, Bob, if I ever become a manager or something, if I ever trade a guy, I'm going to get him, sit him down, and look right in his eyes and tell him, "Look, man, I'm trading you. That's the way it is. That's the business." These guys that don't do that, I have no respect for.
Phil fit right into the rebuilding program in Boston, where he teamed up with veteran Johnny Busick and a young sensation by the name of Bobby Orr. Esposito parked himself in the slot and began to fill enemy nets with Bruin pucks.
You had 5 50-goal seasons. Which one gave you the most satisfaction?
Good question. I don't know. You know, I think the first one. I think it's like the first Stanley Cup we won. I think that was the biggest thrill for me. But the first 50-goal season was really a thrill.
That season saw Phil score an incredible 76 times. And in the 4 ensuing years, he scored 66, 55, 68, and 61, respectively. A 5-year total of 326 goals. Espo helped the Bruins to Stanley Cups in 1970 and 72.
When we played together in Boston, we won 2 Stanley Cups. I think we should have won more.
I agree. I agree totally with you, and I think the reason we didn't win them is because, Bob, we lacked discipline sometimes. We floated because we got confident. We got cocky. We should have won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. That's why the Islanders are such a good team. They are disciplined.
Would the 1972 series against the Soviets be the highlight of your career?
Going over to Russia and playing after we were behind like we were was something that nobody thought we could win. And we were trying our best to beat a country. And we were not in a game. It was a war. You know, Bob, and I say this humbly, I often wondered how another person could kill another person in a war. But I swear to you, and I swear to the people, to win that series, I would have killed.
The trade to New York was a shock to all of us, Phil.
It was to me, too, Bob, I tell you. And you remember that day, we were in Vancouver. You know, to this day, the one thing that I regret was being traded from Boston. I still have that feeling for the Bruins. I can't help it. I still do. I still have that feeling for Boston.
What's in the future for Phil Esposito?
Everything. The world is my future, really. I mean, I am not opposed to doing anything. I'm doing television right now. I'm broadcasting the Ranger games. I do my own television show in New York. I'm very happy about that. I enjoy doing it probably more than anything. But, Robert, deep down inside of me, I have this urge, this feeling I know I can give something back to this game a little bit more than I've given.
Espo gave a lot. Second to Gordie Howe with 717 regular season goals, 61 playoff goals, third in regular season assists, second to only the great Wayne Gretzky in single season points, first in single season power play goals, winner of 5 Art Ross trophies and 2 Hart trophies, 8 All-Star selections, and 1978 recipient of the Lester Patrick Trophy.
I think I can coach. I think I can manage. I think I can run a hockey team. I think I can do television. Honestly, I think I can do anything I want to do.
Phil Esposito, hockey legend.